If you found this video, then you are actually a High Priestess archetype. Now, I want you to remember that historically in ancient Egypt, High Priestesses were not just starving artist healers, okay? They were consulted by kings and queens. Their role was a privilege. Their role was an honor. And before women were subjugated by male-dominated systems, they were incredibly important to communities and societies. Some of them were born into royal families. Now, how can you tell if you're a high priestess? Well, number one, you probably were raised in an environment where you didn't get something that you needed, okay? Or you had a difficult childhood growing up. Now, this doesn't mean that you experienced abuse or trauma, although absolutely, yes, that can be part of it. Perhaps there was food insecurity or money insecurity. Perhaps you had food and money insecurity, but there was no emotional fulfillment. You were abandoned emotionally. You weren't allowed to express yourself. You were the black sheep in your family. You were the unicorn. You didn't fit in anywhere. You had a difficult time doing that. What this did is it increased your sensitivity. Now, all women are very sensitive because of our amygdalas. Our amygdalas are our brain's alarm systems. We have a larger amygdala than men, which is why women have higher instances of anxiety. But that gives us this gift of fine-tuning our intuition. But you, especially because you didn't feel safe in your environment, you had to constantly scan your environment for safety. So this gave you an increased intuition and increased ability to see the unseen, because the high priestess can see behind the veil, beyond the veil, behind this material external world. So you have those abilities. You happen to know things. You have precognitive dreams where you'll dream something and it will come true. Things like that. You are prophetic. Now, just because you have not answered this call does not mean that you are not positioned to do so. Does not mean that even though you're working a regular job, that you cannot answer this call. And it's important that you know that you're a high priestess. Why? Did you know that when you enter a room, you shift the energy of the room? You actually do that. Did you know that people can extract your energy? Did you know people can regulate their nervous systems just because your nervous system is regulated? Even if it's dysregulated, did you know that they can pick up on that and utilize that energy, alchemize that energy for their good? Did you know that they can deplete? That leaves you vulnerable for depletion if you don't understand the importance of being a high priestess and that you are a high priestess, because you diminish your gifts. You diminish your propensity to be taken advantage of just because it's not seen. Just because people can't see the gifts that you give externally on this physical world doesn't mean that they are not real. Have you ever wondered why your friendships tend to fall apart, why you don't fit in again anywhere? Because you cannot align yourself to women, or especially men. Men have to worship the high priestess, by the way. It's non-negotiable. We'll get into that later. But women, the women that you surround yourself with also have to recognize their power as a high priestess. They could be a high priestess archetype, but not recognize it, and therefore look at you with envy. Envy means you have something that they don't have. You have to be amongst women who are answering their call. Does this mean that you have to start a business and, disrupt your career if you don't want to? No. But it does mean that you need to recognize who you are. But it does mean that you need to step into your power and stop shrinking yourself. You want to know why you're so confused? Because you're incredibly not just talented, you are gifted. Does this mean that you're better than anyone else? No, everyone has their particular archetypes. Everyone has their particular gifts. We're not better than anyone. However, when we don't know our purpose, when we don't know our path, we can wander on this loop, this road confused. It's like you're walking a road and you're walking up to these different businesses in a village or something like that. And you're like, is there a place for me? Is there a place for me? You're looking for your place. And you're looking for your place because you just haven't had the knowing of who you are. You knew something was different about you. And this is what it is. You have a gift. Again, it doesn't mean that you need to leave your job. It doesn't mean that you have to start a whole movement. But guess what? When you recognize that you are the high priestess and you walk as her, you actually heal the planet, heal the world, awaken people to their knowing. Look what I'm doing. I'm here letting you know who you are. And then it's up to you because I don't have power over you. You do. But guess what? When you do that, that is what heals the planet. Gone are the days where we're begging government and leadership to help the planet. No, we do it. Does this mean that you need to deplete yourself and work hard? Absolutely not. In fact, the high priestess cannot do it. Why? Again, she is too sensitive for that. You cannot be depleted. The soft life is more than just a notion. It is a statute. Okay? It is a guideline. You cannot You cannot deplete yourself and expect to heal the planet. Like, we can't do that. There are a myriad of ways that we can do that beyond getting in front of a stage, right? Some of you are not meant for stages. That's fine. Some of you are meant to just be in corporate environments because you love it. And when people see you, they shift. Again, that's fine. Knowing who you are is of the utmost importance. And you are a high priestess. You are meant to be a wealthy woman because a wealthy woman is more fulfilled. A wealthy woman operates in this abundance of energy. She's wealthy in body, mind, soul, resources, money, absolutely. Because she knows who she is. All right. And I know that some of you are timid and you're afraid that, people are going to feel like you're arrogant. Unfortunately, that is the sacrifice of the high priestess. People are going to see you as arrogant. In fact, if you are well liked by every single person, I'm sorry, but you are in misalignment. This is part of the reason why healing your self-worth, your self-concept is important, because your approval is the only one that matters. As long as you're operating in love, as long as you're operating in compassion and kindness, right? There are sacrifices for the high priestess. You just can't fit in anywhere. And I know that, historically, and even our brains and our nervous systems, when we don't fit in, we don't feel safe. Why? Because historically, in the tribe, if you didn't fit in, if a woman didn't fit in with the tribe, she didn't survive. She didn't survive. But now we are past survival. All right, we're moving you out of survival mode. You don't have to fit in everywhere. You do need community as a high priestess. You've had these cycles of isolation. Those are important for the high priestess, actually, because she has to die to her old self, refine herself, and become someone new. It's an uncomfortable journey. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you because that would be disingenuous. Like the journey, it can be challenging, but once you cross that threshold of claiming who you are, right, taking your rightful place, I promise it's a life worth living. All right. I've been a nurse, a healer for 17 plus years. I know what it's like. I've trained in spiritual initiations and fine-tuned my spiritual gifts. Why? So I could be here, so I could awaken you to your purpose as I've awakened in mine, because the planet needs to be healed. And what's happening is not good enough. Okay. We are operating in the unseen. to help it manifest in the external, into the scene, in the physical realm. All right, that is the purpose, to heal the planet. All right. Now, I have nervous system rituals and readings and one-on-ones and guidance for you. I'll put the link below for you. I also have a Soft Wealth membership. Now, if you are a high priestess, again, you need community. You can find community there. All right. I'll put all the links below. If you resonate with this journey, with this path, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can get all of the notifications. And I will see you later, High Priestess.